Ahmad, as a Muslim you are fond of attacking Christianity and the Bible. You seem quite convinced that Christians aren't the true followers of Jesus but are instead followers of Paul. That's a bold claim. What's your evidence for this?
It's simple, John. Christians of today are apostates for the teachings of Paul. They have abandoned the true teachings of Jesus and are following Paul's distorted theology. Paul is the one who introduced concepts like the death and resurrection of Jesus, which are entirely foreign to Jesus' actual teachings.
That's quite an accusation. Can you be more specific? You know, Muslims are strong in attacking other people's religion. What true teachings of Jesus have Christians supposedly abandoned in favor of Paul?
Sure. For example, Jesus never taught that he would die and resurrect. This is an act of disbelief on the part of Christians for otherwise. The Quran, which is the direct word of Allah, clearly states in multiple places, including Surah 4, 157, that Jesus was not crucified. Christians, however, have built their entire faith around the death and resurrection of Jesus, a doctrine that Paul aggressively promoted.
Interesting. But you're making this assertion based on your understanding of the Quran. By the same Quran, you will get choked up. Let's reason together using your scripture. Could you please read Surah 355 and explain what it says about Jesus?
Mention when Allah said, "O Jesus, indeed I will take you and raise you to myself and purify you from those who disbelieve and make those who follow you superior to those who disbelieve until the day of resurrection. Then to me is your return, and I will judge between you concerning that in which you used to differ." Well, this verse is saying that Allah took Jesus up to himself and that his true followers will be made superior until the day of resurrection. This, you can't dispute.
Excellent. Now, what do you think is the implication of this verse? If the Quran says Jesus' followers would be made superior over disbelievers until the day of resurrection, doesn't that mean they are still here today? I'm eager to hear you.
Well, not necessarily. The Quran isn't talking about Christians. The true followers of Jesus are not the Christians.
Really? But consider this, Christians are the ones who follow Jesus and have the Injil, the Gospel, as their holy book. If Christians are Pauline, as you argue, and not true followers of Jesus, then are you suggesting that the supposed Paulines are the ones Allah made superior till the day of resurrection? That would mean the Quran supports the dominance of these so-called Paulines throughout history. Isn't that a dilemma for your argument?
Oops. No. You have started again. You are twisting the Quran. The Quran doesn't support Christian doctrines.
I'm not twisting anything, Ahmad. I'm simply pointing out what your scripture says. The Quran explicitly declares that Jesus' followers were made superior until the day of resurrection. Christians are the only community that fits this description. They've held Jesus as their leader and followed the gospel for centuries. If you claim they're not Jesus' true followers, then your argument falls apart because the Quran itself acknowledges their superiority.
But the Quran also says Jesus wasn't crucified. This is a fact from the Quran.
And yet your own scripture acknowledges the enduring influence of Jesus' followers. If Christians are Paulines, as you claim, then Paul's theology must have been part of Allah's plan for Jesus' followers' dominance. That creates an inconsistency in your argument and a significant dilemma for Islamic theology.
May the anger of Allah visit you. You are twisting everything to suit your narrative.
I'm just pointing out the logical implications of what's written. It seems that your challenge has some serious holes, my friend. Don't worry, Ahmad. These discussions are meant to help us think deeply. I'm always happy to continue reasoning with you. But you need to acknowledge the mess and dilemma you found yourself.